Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
That's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
I do quite frequently.
You use the N word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Hey, shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Tamayim in Atlanta. And with that clip there, and with some of the other news events that are going on currently, like the Carmelo Anthony thing and the Shiloh Hendricks thing, and then the father that just ran over the cop in his car because the cop killed his son, there is a lot of talk about race recently. And you see it culminating into Esau really freely showing their hate. And they're going to do that. They're that old serpent, that old devil. Same old devil that used to lynch us and beat us and cut off our body parts and enslave us and steal our land, as well as the various other things that they've done throughout history. This is the same devil in which so-called white people, including the Small Hatters, are Edomites. They are the biblical children of Esau. So you see them on the screen, especially here. These are Edomites. I don't know about Pierce Morgan. He could, who knows, but this woman is definitely an Edomite. And you could tell by her spirit. There's that hate that is within her for their actual brothers, Jacob. They hate the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's what they've shown us throughout history, is nothing but hate. Stealing our land, enslaving us, to renaming us, to stealing our heritage and our book. That's all hate. These are a hateful people. They changed the Lord from a dark-skinned man into looking like them. That is hate. Christianity's hate, by the way. White Jesus. All that's hate. Because you couldn't leave it in its truth. Because you hate us. And they're showing their hate. But the Lord has something for them. Which is, all this stuff can kind of arouse your anger. Not in a, wasn't saying that in a sexual way. It arouses your anger to where you want to do something, but we're waiting on the Lord, because what the Lord is going to do to these people is far greater than anything we could even imagine. These people are about to go into the lowest position of any people throughout all of humanity. They're going into captivity. And just, it's all throughout the Bible. They are the Edomites. Alexander the Greek, it calls him an Edomite within the scriptures. These are Edomites, and Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. But she couldn't even help herself. And look where we rewound it. It's right there at 144. Because the Lord's bringing these people down. He is exposing them. This is helping to expose the sons of perdition, the people of destruction, these Edomites, so-called white people, and the small hatters. They are all doomed. They are a doomed people. But Esau is Jacob's brother, and they have hated us for the birthright since then. And really, it even goes back further to Cain and Abel, because it said there would be enmity between the two seeds, and then you get to Jacob and Esau, and there was enmity there. They were wrestling in the womb. There's always been a difference, and we can't live together. We can't be around. We're meant to be competing people, and they are known as the wicked, and we, the Israelites, are known as the righteous, and righteousness is going to prevail. They've already lost this. But this is 1 John 2 and 11. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness. And as it was said to the serpent, upon thy belly thou shalt go, and of the dust of the ground thou shalt eat. It's going into confusion. And these Edomites are in confusion. They are in darkness. They're the wicked. They can't be in light. And the Lord is about to have these people in complete and total confusion. And they do hate their brother Jacob. And walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth. Because your everyday regular Edomite, they don't realize that we're at the absolute end of their reign, of them having any power within this earth. And they're going into a really hard and brutal captivity. And they deserve it. Every bit of it is deserved, even more. But it's going to be brutal for them. And they have no idea where they're going. This is because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. Hear about seeing red. These are the red people, and they've walked in anger for far too long. This is Amos 1 and 11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom's the white people, including the small hatters. Those are Edomites. And any Edomites that are spread throughout the 4 corners of the earth, because they spread themselves like a green bay tree, their power, in which they went around spreading their seed to the different nations as well. So there are Edomites that might look like Moabites, as Chinese, or Edomites that might look like Hamites, which are the Africans, or Edomites that might look like Ishmaelites, which are the Middle Easterners, which everybody goes back through their father's line. Whatever nation you come from through your father is your biblical nation. It doesn't matter how you look. And so on the flip side, there are so-called white people that through their father's line go back to Jacob. And so they're actually Israelites that have the appearance of an Edomite, but they're truly Israelites. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. There is no repentance for the Edomites. It says, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. They did this. The original man, Esau, did this to his brother, Jacob. But his progeny, his children, have done this on and on. and have been gone unpunished for it. But now we're coming into that time of judgment where they will be punished for how they've pursued Jacob with the sword, their brother, which that brotherly covenant is completely null and void. They're nothing but enemies. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and the sword is also their blessing back in Genesis 27. And so all the weaponry that they have, and they are people of violence. But this time, when they try to pursue their brother with the sword, a standard is going to be lifted. It says, and did cast off all pity. There's been no pity for us. They've heavily cast their yoke upon the elderly, the old, and the young, and the weak. There's been no pity. And if they have, it's just been for them to hurt us, giving us Section 8 and these different welfare programs were to split our families up and to keep us in this state of always depending on them. It wasn't a nice thing. It was to hurt us. And it says, and his anger did tear perpetually. And that woman there was a great example. There's just this hate that they have for us, in which we should be the exact same way to them, that has just never faded or gone away. They pretend to hide it, especially during all the this PC culture and whatever culture we've had, to where people are all nice and stuff to each other. They've tried to hide it, but that hate is still there, and it always will be there. These are the same people that sick dogs on us during the civil rights movement and lynched us in everything they've done throughout history. Committed disease warfare on us, especially Gad, stolen everything, put out these crazy philosophies which have come back to bite us severely. That anger is still there, and it won't ever go away. And it says, and he kept his wrath forever. Keep it. It says, but I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. And their precious baby, America, is going to be burnt up very soon via nuclear war, nuclear weapons. And they are going to be completely burnt up as well, pursuant to Obadiah 1 and 18. Sirach 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. The Edomites are our enemy. They are our number one enemy to the Israelites, and the number one enemy to Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. For like as iron rusteth, because iron will rust, so is his wickedness, because they will be wicked. They're just going to be wicked. But it's as though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And so, past 50 or so years, these devils have been pretending to be our friends and to love us, but that anger and that hate is still there. It's there. Did tear perpetually. It's never going to go away. And they've presented themselves as the bastion of morality, just the pinnacle of how you're supposed to be as a person. They're really just full of hate, and they're doing this in a serpent-like fashion, pretending to like everyone and to want everyone to gather together. They're serpents, remember, so they do things in a certain way, but their fangs are about to show, because it does say the devil shall come down with great wrath, knowing that he hath but a short time. They can see their world fading, and they're going to do something about it, that being their elite. They're going to come down with great wrath, but when the enemy comes in like a flood, a standard will be lifted, and the Lord is going to repay them. And then you also have the 2/3 who are rising up right now, that Judah being roused up. There's going to be race wars, and there's going to be civil wars, and all sorts of social chaos going on. And these Edomites lose in the end. Beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And there's a lot of Jakes that don't see that this is their enemy. It's their ultimate enemy, always has been, always will be. And as their society collapses, they're going to start letting the facade of niceness and morality and being a good person, they're going to let it all go and show you why they're the red man, why they're the violent man, why they get the judgment that they'll get. They're going to show themselves, and they already are, especially with Trump coming back into office, and all this MAGA stuff and nationalism stuff. They're showing themselves. Take good heed of it. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.